Hey everybody, how is it going? Welcome back to my channel. Well, in this video I want to talk about the overall market, and then I'm going to get into my trading activity for the day. So if you want to see if I made any moves today or made or lost any money, make sure you stick around all the way to that. But I want to start off with this chart first, and I was reading an article today titled Stocks May See a Massive Rally After the Fed Meeting. I thought this was a pretty important chart, so I wanted to share it with you guys. But the FOMC announcement and press conference is going to be tomorrow, May 4th. And unless the Fed announces something entirely unexpected, it's likely to serve as a de-risking event for the stock market. Now, as we can see from this chart, stocks have sold off hard heading into the FOMC meeting. However, the FOMC meeting has typically acted as a de-risking event since late 2021, meaning those rallies have been used to lighten positions. So any rally is likely not to be long-lasting, as the macro forces at work will probably be too much for it to overcome in the short term. But since the end of 2021, the FOMC meetings have been followed by huge rallies in the S&P 500, while sharp market drops have followed the FOMC minutes. So unless the Fed does something completely unexpected, there's a good chance this cycle continues, with the S&P 500 rising following this meeting. And as we can see by this green arrow right here, that's where we're at right now. We've clearly sold off into this, and the market is way oversold and overdue for a bounce. So this could be the catalyst. But I just thought it was pretty interesting, as the FOMC meeting minutes get released. The market tends to sell off hard, but when Powell gets on TV and speaks, the market tends to rally over the next coming couple of weeks. All right, well, the next chart I want to go over is the VIX. I've shown this chart a couple times over the last couple of weeks, just showing this channel that we've been in since December of last year. When the VIX tends to get up towards the top of this channel, we tend to get a rally in the market, and when it gets down to around 18 or so, we tend to get a sell-off. But actually, right now we are at the top of the channel, actually touched it yesterday. So this is just further evidence that we are way oversold and potentially setting up for a rather explosive rally in the market. And I didn't even realize that we touched the top of that channel yesterday, because I didn't even check this one. But I was guessing by yesterday's price action, we probably didn't get that high, but after checking it today, we definitely made it up to the top of this channel. So a rally could happen tomorrow for sure. All right, so let's take a look at the NASDAQ first. I have the QQQ up right here, and as we can see today, had a little bit of a blah day, a doji candle. I expected some more price action, and then we got either more buying or more selling, but it just kind of makes sense with that Fed meeting tomorrow that it was a bit of an indecision day, and that's what a doji represents. We can see the stochastics rolled back over into oversold territory, but that's not all that big of a deal, especially with the Fed meeting tomorrow. But after seeing this big downtrend right here with the Fed speaking tomorrow, I think a lot of people are expecting the market to rally tomorrow. So the wild card would be if we did get a big sell-off and it broke down through this previous low that it made 2 days ago, right around 309.50. So that's going to be the area to watch on the QQQ. I think if we get a break of that area tomorrow, that could lead to a rapid sell-off. But I personally am expecting a rally, and unless we get a massive sell-off before that meeting, I'm probably going to end up, buying some call options, betting on a break to the upside. But let's take a look at the spider, or the S&P 500. And you can see the same exact thing. I can probably get this box out of here right now. Basically a day of indecision. Couldn't even make it up to that 8-period exponential moving average. And the stochastic remained in the oversold position. So I think the S&P 500 is in wait-and-see mode as well. And getting to the diamonds, or the Dow Jones Industrial Average, we can see the Dow is picking up a little bit of strength, holding above this support area. So I don't know. I think the market is basically setting up for a rally tomorrow, and if we get a break above the high of today's candle, I'm probably going to look to get long for sure the market. But let's take a look at the IWM before we jump on to some individual stocks. And we can see the IWM held below that 8-period exponential moving average as well. So, just a whole lot of indecision in the market today. Everybody's kind of staring at each other, waiting for the results of that Fed meeting. But I would expect, with all of this indecision and this cluster that we've had over the last couple of days in this area in all of the indices, that if we get a breakout one side or the other, it's probably going to be followed with a lot of momentum, because there's a lot of players that have taken position in this little consolidation, and all we need is a breakout, for the momentum to really scream one way or the other. All right, so let's get into my trading activity for the day. Before I get started, please remember I am not a financial advisor, so please make all of your own buying and selling decisions. This is for entertainment purposes only. But first one I want to get into is the only day trade I made on the day, and this was in SNOA. This is the pattern that I like to try to make a day trade on. I like to look for stocks that are under $10 a share that are gapping up, and if they pull back and start to make a rounded bottom on the 1-minute chart, I like to try to play that pattern. So let's go to the 1 minute and take a look how this one shaped up. Let me situate the chart here a little bit so we can see it. As we can see, SNOA had a nice gap up, started to pull back, made a little bit of a rounded bottom. I noticed that this was a nice little ceiling right here. And I put in my buy stop order at $3.77, and that was actually where it was executed. And I put in my sell order at $4.05. And that's where it got executed as well. It made it to a high of $4.10, so got pretty close to calling the top on that one. I'm not interested in calling the top. I'm just trying to make between 5 and 8% on these trades, because it seems like that's the meaty part of the move on a lot of these day trade type of patterns. But that was a gain of about 7%. Let me walk this thing forward. I don't think it made it higher than 410 the whole day. No, it didn't. See, this is typically how these stocks end up. They just kind of end up fading into the close. Every once in a while, one will just continue to scream higher, and then I'll ask myself, why didn't I hold this thing a little bit longer? But this is typically how they end up. That's why I just try to capture that little pattern in the beginning of the day, the first half hour of the day or so. But another stock that I do own call options in is GoPro. And this one actually broke out today, so the options weren't up a whole heck of a lot, but I'm hoping to get some follow through on GoPro. And if the market does end up finding a bottom and moving higher, getting into one of those face ripper rallies as they are talking, I think GoPro should do quite well, because this thing is just making a beautiful bottoming formation. The underlying fundamentals are picking up for GoPro, so really like this position. I actually wish I would have bought more call options in GoPro. Actually, probably wouldn't be a bad idea if I added some stock as well. Another one that I am watching that I did not buy yet is ATER. I expected this one to hopefully break out today, but as you can see, it just kind of hit that 200-period simple moving average and came right back down. I had an order to buy it at $5.75, and we can see the high of today was $5.70. It almost stopped me in today, but I still have that buy stop order in. So if we get an explosion out of ATER, hopefully I can participate in that move. Another stock that I am watching right now is NVDA. We can see NVIDIA looks like it is making a nice little bottoming formation. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if we get a nice big move in NVIDIA if, the market does end up rallying tomorrow. Another one looking just like NVIDIA is AMD. You can see this one, nice little consolidation, broke above that 8-period exponential moving average. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if this one has a nice run. Now, some long-term patterns that I want to show you guys before I end up closing the video. Let's actually go to the weekly chart. PayPal looks like it could be making a positive divergence on the weekly chart. I've traded these many times in the past, or at least when I find them. They're actually quite rare, but you can see PayPal made a lower low in price, but it's making a higher low in the MACD. So this one is looking very attractive for a long-term position. Usually when you get a pattern like this, you can end up getting some follow-through for many weeks to many months. So PayPal is looking good. Another one is Roku. There's a lot of these stocks starting to show up because, a lot of these tech stocks have been in long downtrends. And this is the weekly chart, by the way. I don't know if I said that on PayPal. So these moving average convergence divergence signals on the weekly charts are very rare just because, it takes a lot of time for these things to form. But because the market's been in a pretty nasty pullback over these last few months, I'm starting to see a lot of these formations form in some pretty decent companies. But just want to show you those ones before I closed out the video. If you guys see any interesting patterns in the market, make sure you leave them for me down there in the comment section. I would greatly appreciate it. But thank you for watching my video all the way to the end. And until next time, take care, everybody.